Steven! How old are you now, you sack of shit?
29, you jerk.
God, still
Why?
young. Because it was your birthday this weekend. Happy birthday. Or actually,
No.
it was before the weekend. I know, it was your birthday weekend, but your birthday was before the weekend.
Yeah, well, I don't like that it's a birthday weekend, It's the reason why it's called.
Is your mic on, by the way?
Is it? I hope it is. Hang on. It might not be. No, it's not. Damn it. Why isn't it just
automatically? It should be the default. We all good here? I think it might.
Yeah, now we're good. Ernie's good. We're all good now.
There we go. Well, the thing is, there's day in the word birthday, so that means that you have one day to celebrate it. So, I don't like the birthday weekend. I don't like the birthday week. I don't like birthday month. It's the day.
Okay. I mean, you should enjoy these birthdays as much as you can, sir.
I know.
Hang on as long as you can in your 20s.
Stop acting.
You got one more year left.
Stop acting like you're 50. All right, you've only had a couple of years on me. Enjoy these years while you can. Come on,
look at me. I'm a withered old man.
You're not seasoned like the chicken I'm about to make later on tonight.
Ooh, what kind of chicken are we talking about?
I don't know. I'm lying. I don't have anything ready. I'm probably gonna go out to Taco Bell.
Who lies about making chicken?
I don't know. I'm looking at my kitchen right now. I feel like I should probably make something for later tonight, but you know what? Not gonna happen.
It's all good, man. And you know what? It's weird on Sunday nights. Like do you ever get the Sunday scaries, as people call them?
What's that? I don't know what that is.
It's basically anxiety before you guys start your whole work week or school week or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. If I, worked in an industry that, required stress and anxiety. Luckily, sports radio doesn't do too much of that, especially as a non-producer, not knowing, whether I got this guest for tomorrow or anything like that. So
yeah,
the Sunday scaries aren't too real for me. I'm looking forward more so to the week. I kind of like getting my week started. That's the beauty of the job. So no, I don't really get the Sunday scaries, Derek. Do you?
I used to, but yes, as a producer for radio, once again, there is nothing worse than the feeling of not knowing if you have a guest book for tomorrow. Which is why I need some people to text me back. So, but no, for the most part, that was a thing in like school when I would get, like worried about the upcoming week and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I used to get that all the time. I used to get Sunday headaches. I don't know if that counts, but I would have like a headache every Sunday. I used to hate Sundays.
Yeah. But no, Sundays for me now that I'm not working at NFL Network, I don't have to worry. Like I would get Saturday scaries of going in the next day and having to worry about the highlights and all that shit. But I don't have to worry about that anymore because Sundays are now cool and easy. Open this beer. Oh yeah.
That sounded good. Hey, can I ask you a question?
No.
Why do you have to wear the earphones when you're in your own apartment? Is that really required that you wear headphones?
Just so I can hear myself better.
Oh, okay. So you can actually hear
hear you more clearly.
Ah, okay, got it.
Yeah. I have a lot of things going on, Steven, that like obviously you have a lot of things going on with your apartment too. You have the wall of smell, and you have people that are working on shit. So update from the wall of smell.
There will be no more wall of smell.
Oh, please tell me that woman's still alive, though.
She's still alive. She's alive and well. I saw her walking the dog the other day, but the time is for her to live here is up.
Yeah,
there was a whole thing with the leasing manager who helped us get the apartment and everything, who still works here, and she brought her boss in, the boss that's not here every day, and they tried to get her out of the apartment and it didn't work. Apparently they got into a little screaming match, and supposedly the 17th was supposed to be her last day, yet she's still not moved out. So I don't know if she got like an extension on that or something. But she is
squatter rights.
She's no longer going to be in the apartment for the foreseeable future. So,
that's
I feel bad. I feel bad, but at the same time, it's like right over our bathroom sink is where this wall of smell is, and it smells like cats and a dog. It's it's very frustrating. So
I'm glad that you'll be rid of the smell.
That's no longer, but I still got my boy Kofi next door. He's my man. He doesn't say a thing to me. I said, "What's up, dude?" And then like he doesn't really talk too much. I don't think he
Kofi, like what Donald Trump tried to tweet with coffee.
No, that's Kofefe.
Kofefe.
Yeah, Kofi, like the wrestler Kofi Kingston.
I just remember Kofi from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Kofi was here.
yeah. But no, he's a good dude. He just doesn't really say much, you know. What's up, man? Actually, last time I saw him, I was shirtless. It was really awkward.
Oh, you did that's how you roll these days now? Just walk around shirtless?
I wasn't walking around shirtless. I was opening my front door, and I think I was putting like my trash outside the front door without a shirt on.
Okay.
We have like these trash valets who come around Sunday through Thursday and pick up the trash. So all you got to do is put it outside. So,
oh, that's nice.
I did that without my shirt on, and I saw my boy Kofi. I was like, Kofi, and then yeah.
Well, welcome everybody to Just Your Opinion, man. For those of you not watching the Stanley Cup right now, or Dodgers Braves, or watching Haberman and Middlecoff's exclusive interview with Lincoln Riley, thank you for sticking with us today, which I'm sure is not a lot of people. Yeah.
Wow, we are out of
we are fourth today.
We are definitely, if we were like in order of letters, we would certainly be the D.
Yeah. Or maybe E, because I guess Draymond Green just dropped his podcast right now too. So probably
he dropped that. I watched a little bit of it. I watched like the first 5 or 6 minutes.
Was he calling out everybody? Like I saw like the tweet was going to be like Draymond calls out this guy and this guy and this guy.
No, I don't think it was anything like that. He's, trying to plug his new live show that he's got coming up with JJ Redick, the new media. So
yeah, I want to get into that because Kevin Durant had his podcast, which is very different, and he kind of called out Draymond for the new media. But we'll talk about that. Did you listen to Kevin Durant's podcast that came out?
No, I was told to. I've listened to it before though. It's him and Eddie Gonzalez, right? The Etcetera's podcast.
Yes, but
the last time I listened to it was when Draymond was on it.
Here's what I'll say real quick about his podcast. It's not as good because, who is Eddie Gonzalez?
He's a guy from Complex, I think.
Okay, that's the thing. If you're going to have a podcast, I think you got to do it yourself. I like the way Draymond does it. I like the way, just my opinion, I know Richard Sherman has his podcast, and a guy from, I think, NBC Sports does it with him. And Richard Sherman is extremely knowledgeable. But I think it's better if you're going to be an athlete in this business and you don't want the softballs lofted up to you like Kevin Durant has in his podcast. I think it's best to just do it yourself like Draymond's doing it, where he just talks to the camera. He has the microphone. He's the one doing everything. Well, he has a producer, obviously, but he's the one engaging the conversation.
I disagree, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the one thing I've always thought that was missing from Draymond's podcast. He just kind of talks, and rambles. There's not really much setup. It's cool.
But he does the ins and outs pretty well.
Yeah, he does them fine, but it's just like, all right, now next up, like we're gonna talk about. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of.
He does take pregnant pauses.
You have to listen to that thing like in 1.5 speed or whatever you listen to it in. Have you ever heard your own voice in 1.5 speed before, by the way?
I do love hearing myself like a chipmunk.
It's terrifying. I don't like it at all. And I've heard it a couple of times when Jesse's gone back and listened to the podcast. I'm like, nope, don't like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Jesse doesn't have time to listen to our 2-hour podcast, just likes to skim through?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's a version of it.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, we do this on a Sunday, Sunday night-ish. First time we've done it at this time slot.
Yeah.
But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Steven, but I think you and I are going to be doing a little pregame show come Sundays for the NFL season. We'll do it in the mornings.
Yeah.
This may be a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I think we should. It's kind of it's a work in progress, but we got about a month till training camp starts. And then by the time training camp gets started, then all of a sudden it's going to be preseason, and then the regular season is going to be underway. So yeah,
I can't wait for preseason football talk, baby.
Sundays though. Oh yeah, it's going down. We'll do that.
Okay,
that'll be like the most consistent time we have.
Yes, we'll try to figure out everything else. Like we want to do like a preview show and a reaction show, but we'll figure out what to do. We won't do the reaction show the same night, just too late with Sunday, and we'll probably be drinking, watching the games. You don't want to hear us drunkenly do a podcast, or maybe you do. But
pretty sure if I think they'd much rather hear us drunk than sober on an NFL
that could
Sunday.
be a possibility then, Steven. We'll think about that. But
you never know.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do 2 shows again for the football season, but we'll figure all that. In the in-between time, let's talk about what's going on in sports now. And the Warriors parade happened last Monday. Excuse me. I'm a little sad because Jackie Moon didn't show up, but I'm not surprised. But it was the first one in San Francisco, and I got to work around 10 o'clock. The parade was going to start at 11, so I went to go walk around the streets a little bit down Market. And I don't know how you felt, Steven. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was fun. Draymond dropping F-bombs, dropping S-bombs. Mr. Fab always coming out and having fun. Who's the dude from Workaholics that always shows up? He was fun.
Blake Anderson.
And yeah, it was just a good time. Both radio Jesus, my voice. Both radio stations out there. Hold on, let me drink this beer real quick.
Chug the beer. That's gonna help.
Maybe. Both radio stations out there, which is a good time. All the, everybody got drunk. Everybody had a good time. Klay Thompson had a lot of interesting moments. Knocking over the girl, dropping his ring. Steph seemed like he was just on a bender all day. Like he was about to go night-night in the middle of a club later that day. But yeah, man, I thought it was a fun time, but it was weird. It was just weird, like in that setting of San Francisco. I've just always been used to it at Lake Merritt in Oakland. Not to say that it wasn't a great parade. It was just kind of weird having a new location, but I still thought it was amazing.
You would have really gotten along well with the guy who's walking around in a Charles Woodson jersey who had nothing to say, but it's better at Oakland. This parade's better at Oakland.
Okay, hold on. No, I didn't say it was better. I just said it was different and not what I'm used to. Yeah. But I still thought it was a great parade.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. The way that they set it up. I'd never personally been to like one at Lake Merritt before, so that didn't. What?
Oh no, you were always working the board. That's right. Never mind.
Yeah, well, I was running the board, and normally if it would be over at 10, if the parades were in San Francisco, I would have been able to make it out there on time. But they were all the way in Oakland, so it's like I would have been done with the show, done with all the post-show work. I didn't do any post-show work for the show on Monday. It's like I think the third hour is still missing from the podcast, and that's like the bare minimum that I got to do. But what was I going to say? Oh, but yeah, I never had a chance to get down to Lake Merritt. This was the first time I'd ever experienced something like that, and just the vibrations were immaculate out there in the Market Street area of San Francisco. The vibes were immaculate, not vibrations.
You just want to sing Good Vibrations because you were singing it before
I got that song in my head, and I'm not going to get it out of my head till tomorrow morning. Good. No, it was so cool, man. Just I remember like walking around, and I actually had to hand out signs for the station, which was funny. I never really had to do that before.
Oh, you're a promo guy now.
Yeah. I had to hand out a bunch of signs, and I'm telling you, I bought well over 100, and I brought them in my backpack, and I just sat there with the signs and held them, and people were just flocking. Like they really wanted signs. So I thought that was going to take up a majority of the morning, but it didn't. It took up like 15 minutes because everybody just wanted a sign. So I got rid of those pretty quickly. And they, just everyone being there for a single purpose, and just everyone there because they love the Warriors and they want to celebrate the team and just celebrate the season that everyone had watched. I don't know, there's something, the camaraderie around it was so cool. And then like the first time I get to Market Street and I'm walking down, there's a guy who's holding up a bottle of liquor, and he's basically like, "Who wants to get fucked up? It's 10 in the morning, but who cares? Screw my job." And then everyone's like cheering for him, which was awesome. But so what'd you do? Like, what'd you do? You went, because you had a show at 2, right?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't that much. I went out there. I tried to meet up with Elena and Jacob, but they were on the opposite side of where I was and had to go down through BART and all that shit, so I didn't have time for that. It was the first really parade I didn't really get to experience because, actually, that's not true. First parade in 2015, I had to work at my other job. Missed that parade. Would have been awesome. Second parade, it's well documented. Lake Merritt, it was a blast, but I got severely sunburned. And then the third parade, it was different. It was the first one that was like in this format where the guys speak before going the parade route. In the past, I know a lot of people, there was going to be a lot of, skepticism of whether or not the parade was going to be fun this year, just because it was like it was kind of like the parade before where Bob Fitzgerald made that awkward joke with Katie before they went and walked around.
Right.
It was like this, but it was fine still. But I like the format before. And I don't know, it's just because they didn't want Draymond, ranting and raving for however long it is. But I think that the best format was when they would do the parade, get super drunk, and then get on a float. No, not get on a float, but get on like to Lake Meriden, do like a whole speech like the Giants did, go to the Civic Center and talk. But I guess they just don't want drunken speeches. Like I remember Draymond, did something with Bob Myers the second time around. It was fun, but I guess they just changed the format.
No, I'd say that having it at the beginning was interesting. I managed to, get my way into watching that, so I didn't really miss any of that. I managed to see Fitz and the intros and, everybody, Steve Kerr and Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. And, if you want to see how much of a team they really are when they're introducing all the organization, the guys involved in the organization, and just how thankful that Steph, Klay, and Draymond look to those guys as they're like high-fiving them as they're walking to their seats and stuff. That was pretty cool. But I was kind of confused by it at first. I thought there was going to be the speeches and the float stuff or the parade stuff at the end, the rally and all that, as they call it. But then I started thinking about it from the player's perspective. And I'm like, man, if I'm a player and they gave me the option, I'd say, yeah, let's get this thing done at the beginning so that we can drink and get wild and not have to worry while we're on the float about the fact that we got to talk to, 1 million people or however many people are in the street right now. But that was really cool. And I got to tell you too, the parade route, I managed to walk it before it started. Like I managed to get through with a little pass, I did a little Wayne's World and kept on showing the badge to everybody and, started walking down, and it was really cool, man. You just yell Warriors and people go nuts, and you put them on your phone and you're like, put them on Instagram Live or something like that. And they all just go insane. They're just like staring at you. It's kind of weird, actually. You're like walking down and they're all just like staring at you, waiting for something to happen. Like there's like along the rail just staring at you. Then you just hold up 4 and then they're like 4, let's go. It was really cool. But let me tell you a little story before this too, because I was really looking forward to the day. First parade, can't wait to get the show connected. Going to talk about it all on my show. I'm super stoked. And I had like a lot of things to bring into work and on top of just the regular coffee cup and water bottle. So I had a couple of other things, and I also included like a clear bag, one of those clear bags, that you tie up with the string and everything. Yeah. And I had like sunscreen, and I think I had a Jessie's, not mine, Jessie's portable charger, her portable phone charger. Thought that would come in handy. And also a couple of iPhone cables. And so I put them in there, and I was so sure that I brought them out with me to the car, and I drive to work and it's nowhere in the car. And I'm thinking in my head, you know what? Didn't I put it on top of the car? Like the clear bag. And so like, I get to work and I'm like, shit, I left the clear bag on top of my car. It's probably fallen off somewhere. Oh, there's nothing I could do. I don't have a portable charger and, all this stuff. And really all that stuff's replaceable. It's just sunscreen and a portable charger. So, you're talking like
less. But you do need sunscreen.
You're talking less than $100 worth of stuff, right? And I just felt terrible because it was Jessie's portable charger. And I asked her specially like, hey, can I please borrow this? And, all this stuff. Yeah. And I call her frantically, dude. I called her like I was not in a day. I like blacked out for a second. I didn't really know what I was saying. I was like, oh my God, Jessie, can you get out of bed? Go look, So I made her get into her car and she did not want to. And she eventually drove out, didn't find anything, came back. She's like, Steven, it's not there. Like, it's okay. And I felt terrible. Come to find out when I get home at night, the stuff is right on top of the dining room table. So I didn't even bring it out to the car in the first place, and I woke Jessie right up. I don't think she went back to sleep. Big yikes.
But you know what? At least you cared enough to make sure that you didn't fuck up.
Yeah, I know.
That's me before leaving anywhere. Not like go to work or anything. But like if I'm gone for a trip, I always do the once over where I check that if I got everything.
Yeah,
I'm always just paranoid about that if I forgot something. I hate losing shit. But you cared enough that you didn't want to damage something of your girlfriend's. So I commend you for that, Steven. People forget shit all the time.
I appreciate that, but then I made her get out of bed. She wasn't too thrilled with me for that one.
She'll live.
Yeah, she was fine. She was fine. She was okay with it. It was okay. A couple of minutes later, we were fine. But she's like, Steven, she holds up the bag. She's like, look at that. And I was like, oh.
Hey, but everything's there. You didn't lose it. Thank God.
I know, right? Yeah, but then, she also ended up buying like a couple of extra iPhone cables just in case right away because we needed them. And you know how much those cost to get delivered. So, yeah. All good, though.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but it was a very entertaining day. The first train that we saw, the first float, was with Kuminga and Iguodala. Kuminga was feeling himself, man.
I bet he was. All the young guys.
He was having a great time up there.
So who do you think amongst the bunch was the most hungover the next day?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd say Steph.
You think so?
Yeah, I'd say Steph because he reminds me of like watching him go off was it wasn't so reminiscent of Tom Brady because Brady was having to be carried over to the speeches basically
by his backup QBs.
Yes. Yeah, so it wasn't that bad. But the reason that he had got to that point is because he doesn't do anything during the regular season. He doesn't drink.
That's true.
He doesn't do anything. So it's like if your tolerance is that low, you're eventually going to end up like that if you drink that much. So I think Steph hadn't drunk that much in quite a while. I'm sure he was managed to stay hydrated, but that dude, like, I think he had a lot of fun. I know the normal answer would probably be like Clay or someone like that, but Clay knows what he's doing. He knows how to handle business. Steph, I think keeps it on the low down or the low key, when it comes to drinking and all that. So I'd say Steph. What about you?
Steph is a great answer because we saw that video of him in the club later that night, like falling asleep, and he had to stay up because did you see Anna's tweet, Anna Kaguragi's tweet?
No, what did she say?
Oh, it was genius. There's a shot of Ayesha giving Steph a look while he's on the float. I think Anna tweets something along the lines of, another Curry's going to be born tonight, or something along those lines. Not born tonight, but made tonight. So Steph better have woken up because Ayesha was giving him the eye pretty much the whole parade. But you're probably right, just because it was always funny watching the old videos of them celebrating the championship, just because Steph likes to drink when in those moments and he has fun.
Right.
KD would always spit the champagne out. If you ever look closely, he would drink it and then just spit it out because I don't think he likes to drink.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he's more of a smoker.
Yeah, not faulting him for anything, but Steph likes to get loose when they win a championship. You're probably right. He probably did get the most fucked up out of all of them. Not including Clay, though. Clay, I'm not saying he had the biggest hangover, but man, he was a mess. From dropping his ring to losing his hat, and the hat was just him on his boat.
That made me so excited. That got me so amped up
for the day because his hat flew off.
Yeah, he's like on his way to his boat, and his hat flies off. It's like, oh, it's going to be a great day.
Yeah, and Raymond Ritter probably gave him one immediately when he got to the parade.
Yeah.
And then he did you see that video of Pablo Sandoval in whatever league he's in now?
Yes.
Just bulldozing over that dude. That was Klay Thompson at the parade with the woman just crashing into her.
Dude, I'd say Pablo's was even worse. I mean,
Pablo's was worse.
Clay was falling over. Pablo was just standing straight up and just barrels his stomach into this dude.
It killed him.
Yeah, but Clay, Draymond made a good point. Man, that girl is a hero because if Clay would have continued to fall, knowing his knee injuries and stuff, she helped break that fall and was able to let him get right back up.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
What I mean? Could you imagine if all of a sudden he wins a championship and then the knee is gone again?
Oh God, that would be
that girl was a hero, man. We don't know what would have happened if she wasn't there.
That's true, but it would have been a Larry David situation from when he trips over Shaquille O'Neal. She would have been public enemy number one for all of Dub Nation.
Oh, God.
Unjustly so. Well, that's how things are in sports. I would say Clay had the biggest hangover, but there's a shot of him back at the Warriors facility getting spa treatment, sitting in the jacuzzi. So I'm sure he drained all of the toxins out of his body and was fine the next day. I'm going to say Jordan Poole. He's the young guy on the team. Was his super soaker filled with champagne and he was spraying on people?
I don't know. I didn't get a taste of it. I didn't get a whiff.
Well, I would say he was. I would say him, probably Jordan Poole or Andrew Wiggins, even maybe. He was letting it loose. I heard him drop a couple of shit bombs. So for the most part, I would say the young guys were probably the most fucked up out of everybody.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins might have been up there, though. Andrew Wiggins is still a youngish person who doesn't do a lot of partying, who remains pretty low-key. I think after that week, I think he'd be exhausted. So maybe he's just, at that point where you've been on those days before where it's like, you go multiple days drinking, and then on the very last day you drink, but you don't really like feel it like you did before.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I don't know. And then apparently it was champagne. Poole said it was on 95.7. Ernie, again, knowing more about our station and everything that we do more than I do.
What would we do without Ernie giving us all these tidbits while we're doing this podcast?
I know, right?
It might have been the most hungover person. It might have been Steve. He had the best line when they flew back. He's like, "I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty hungover."
Yeah. That was cool, man. That was a cool shot. He's got like the messy hair. He just looks like he's gone off a long flight. Not gonna lie, I'm hungover right now. Yeah, that was fantastic.
The best line though, was Bob Myers with Kareth Burke, and Kareth asks him about the draft coming up on Thursday, and in all honesty, Bob just goes, I don't know, Kareth. Just like, I'm not even thinking about that shit right now. When the draft comes, somebody, maybe Kirk Lakeup will handle everything, but I'm not even thinking about that shit right now. And the draft, the parade happens on Monday. It's a good time. And they get right back to work on Thursday, and they draft, what's this guy's name? Patrick Baldwin PB&J.
Yep, sir.
So they draft him with the 28th pick, and then they do a little deal with the Atlanta Hawks and Grant Liffman, who's the new scout for the Hawks. They drafted, what's that guy's name real quick? I had to write it down. The guy after PB&J was...
Rollins.
Yeah, you got it before me. Yeah, Ryan Rollins. And they also got...
Guy Santos,
the new Brazilian blur. And who knows if these guys make the team. But yeah, I think it's nice, not to be mean about these guys, because I'm sure they will have an impact on the Warriors in their time. But it's just nice not having to care about the draft.
Oh,
like obviously, God, yeah. I'm sure you guys talked about it on your station, but in all reality, there are guys that are not going to have an impact on this team anytime soon. And it's just nice to know that in the foreseeable future, they have other young guys that they still need to implement: Kuminga, Moody, James Wiseman, but that will all come in time. The Warriors are just fine the way they are right now. They don't have to worry about the draft.
Yeah, I'm way more intrigued by Summer League than I am the draft. I like, the Baldwin Jr. is a nice enough pick. I don't know. I mean, if you're looking at all like the numbers and really, to be honest, he checks every box that you don't want. Injury prone, shoots below 30% in college, was hurt in high school. Tried to be like the leading scorer of their team in Milwaukee. He was a top 5 recruit, was the 5th overall prospect, I think, according to ESPN's top 100 prospects, and, ended up going to play for his dad. But as far as like, statistically, yeah, checks every box that you don't want. But as far as just his size and his length, with a type like that, a body type like that, that's the type of position that's going to be needed in the playoffs. Like, what does everybody covet when you get into the playoffs? 1 is depth. Number 2, wing depth. Yep. They really do covet that. So if he could fill in that spot on the roster, I don't even know if he's going to be like a starter on this team at some point. But if he can become like a solid player, and you can continue the strength and numbers thing, then yeah, I'll like the pick, but nobody knows. What are you doing?
Speaking of wings, do you have hot sauce with you?
No.
You haven't paid the toll. The troll toll yet, sir.
What toll?
For getting some shit wrong.
What did I get wrong this time?
Yeah, there was one round of the NBA finals or the playoffs that the conference finals. Just because it's your birthday weekend, and I know you love that, doesn't mean I'm going to forget this, Stephen.
All right, yeah, just forget about it for the next couple of minutes.
Fine.
For the next half hour, however long the podcast lasts.
We'll do it next time, but we always say that.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. By the way, shout out to Aram. You see that Steph said that before was it game 5 or game 4? He dropped it. We'll see what happens before one of the games. And I was like, we should start the show with that.
Hey, man, we'll see what happens. It's a very common thing within sports radio. It's great within podcasting.
Or just in life.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll see what happens. That's what I say with everything.
And we'll see what happens with the Warriors going forward. But, not a lot of changes to be made. I heard Bob Myers say in his pre-draft press conference that the draft, obviously because of the time frame, is the most important thing. And then after that, the priority is signing Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole to long-term deals. Now, I thought those guys were free agents for this season, but they're not. So it doesn't have to be anything, crazy at the moment. The deadline to get those deals done are October, so they got plenty of time to figure that shit out. But the free agents that the Warriors have to worry about this offseason are Andre Iguodala, Kevon Looney, Otto Porter Jr., Belizia, and GP2, and Damian Lee and Juan Toscano-Anderson. So, Steven, let's just go through this real quick. I'll say a name, and you tell me if the Warriors should sign him back. Ready?
Ready.
All right. Andre.
No.
Why do you say that?
Because I don't really know what his value is for this team. It seems like he has more value on the bench as a coach than what he actually does on the court.
Then.
Huh?
So I ask you this. What if you sign him to a very minimal deal, the league minimum, and you make him like a Udonis Haslem type of player?
I'm into that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm into that. If he's like a Udonis, yeah, perfect. I love that.
Just an enforcer and, not like, Udonis and Jimmy Butler trying to get into a fight during a game, but a guy that, like an extra coach, like just some guy that will be around the team. And if he needs to play, he'll play. But, he's going to be 38 years old.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, I'm into that for sure.
Okay.
If they can make that happen, I just don't know.
I think they can. It's that or he retires at this point.
Yeah, true.
He does have a life after basketball, no doubt. But I think that, he's still in good shape, so he can still help this team. By the way, did we talk about Kenny Atkinson not wanting to go to the Warriors?
No.
Or sorry, the Hornets?
Yeah, we haven't talked about that.
Interesting. Good move, I think. Kind of pulling a Josh McDaniels, like with the Colts.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the right move just because from what I've heard, I think Mark Spears said this, he wasn't really going to have a lot of money to give his assistant coaches. And so everyone that they interviewed for that job, whether it was Kenny Atkinson or Mike D'Antoni, all passed on the job and then went back to their old coach. His name escapes me at the moment. They just hired him the other day, but sounds like he avoided a bad situation. So I always thought that Andre Iguodala would be like a good assistant coach, but I don't think he has time for that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Kenny Atkinson, though, his time with the Hornets, I can't say I'm all that surprised by it because not on top of that, too. I mean, you got to deal with LaMelo Ball. And although LaMelo Ball is fantastic, he strikes me as one of those players who already feels like he's bigger than the team. But that's just kind of where I'm at with him. I think he's a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong on that. But I could tell that, if a head coach were to come in, a new head coach were to come in, he'd be like, nah, this is my team. You're not making any changes, blah, blah, blah. And if they did, he wouldn't respond well to it. That's just my reaction to it. But other than that, you got Miles Bridges posting a video of him sipping lean with a joint in the same exact hand. I don't think you want I don't think you need that. PJ Washington, you got all the off the court drama with him. If you follow along with Robert Littal on Black Sports Online, you know exactly what the PJ Washington thing's all about. And then you got to deal with Michael Jordan too. I wouldn't want to deal with Michael Jordan if I was a coach. So
I mean, Kenny Atkinson says I'd rather work for Steph Curry than Michael Jordan at this point.
Yeah, and and you're also a team. You're on a team with a bunch of veterans who don't need to learn how to be an NBA player yet. The Hornets have a lot of guys who still need to be molded into being a real NBA star. Like they're having their fun, and I can't knock them for having their fun. Every player has their fun, but at some point, your professionalism has got to take over from the fun that you can have. And I don't think the Hornets are at that point yet. So I'm not shocked. I'm really not.
All right. Just to wrap up with the rest of these names here, Kevon Looney, yes or no? Yes?
Yes, but I do wonder what his market's going to look like. I don't think it's going to be as expensive as everyone thinks it is.
I don't think so either.
Like he was fantastic in the playoffs. He was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but there were times in the regular season where it's like, you have to go back and look at his age. Because you're like, how old is he? How does a guy like that move at the age of 25? And then you realize, oh, yeah, he had 2 hip injuries or hip surgeries. So there's a reason for it. But, like, I don't know. I think they can sign him back, and I think they actually could do it cheaper than we all think that it's going to be.
This has always been the case. I remember the summer that Durant signed with the team. Everybody thought that Kevon Looney was going to leave. Kevon Looney is like even the summer they got DeMarcus Cousins, we thought he was going to leave. He came back. In a summer where we're going to see DeAndre Ayton be a free agent, possibly Rudy Gobert is going to be traded from the Jazz. I don't see Kevon Looney going anywhere. I think he's going to come back on the cheap. And like, yes, he had a great playoff run, but that's not going to translate to a huge contract, in my opinion. So I think he'll be just fine, and he'll be back on the Warriors. Probably get the biggest contract he's ever gotten, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, what are you going to give him, a 3-year deal worth $20 million? Because that'd be more than his last contract. That'd be $5 million more than his last contract. So it's not going to take that much if you want to exceed that limit.
Otto Porter Jr.
Yes, like here's the answer to Derek. To be honest with you, like if you're gonna list off every name, I do. Like I want to bring back every single one of those guys,
even Bjelica,
except Bjelica, and it's Bjelica. Damn it, not Bjelica.
I know. I'm sorry. I always mispronounce his name. I know.
But I think that every guy on this team, like this is what's confused me about the whole thing. Is we are so proud of how much Joe Lacob has spent on this team. And we are told like, hey, he's willing to spend whatever it takes as long as he's going to win. So if they feel like any of these players are worth that amount of money that they're going to pay, they're going to keep those players. Like I'm surprised that it's even a talking point that, oh yeah, they're not going to be able to sign this guy, not going to be able to sign that guy. Who can they retain? They can retain all of them if they really want to. It's up to them really. Like I think we'd all agree that yeah, they should bring back Otto Porter Jr. Yeah, GP2. Yeah, you need to keep him on this team. He's a closing defensive specialist. You need that. Bjelica, we can find another big guy who could shoot, and plus with the ascension of Wiseman and Kuminga and Moody, like you feel like you're okay with that. So I don't know, like this whole free agent thing and being able to retain players. The only thing that's really going to break the bank is what's going to happen with Jordan Poole. Like that's the big one right there. Like they're going to pay him a lot of money. Andrew Wiggins, he doesn't have to get paid this year. Actually, they're going to keep him on for one more year without even giving him an extension.
But between the two, I think Wiggins would get the bigger contract.
You think so? Well, yeah,
I think so.
For sure. But I think you're going to have to wait a year though before that happens.
You might, but I'm with you, Steven. I think everybody that I go through on this list, you can make an argument to bring back. I would say Otto Porter Jr., yes, but you could live without him. I would say Bjelica, no, I would not bring Bjelica back. Gary Payton II, absolutely, yes. Damian Lee, Juan Toscano-Anderson, they're great guys, but you can live without them.
Actually, speaking of the parade and all that, I tried to give Damian Lee the benefit of the doubt, like when it comes to the trade deadline and stuff, and people are saying, oh, that's Steph's brother-in-law. They're not going to keep, they're going to keep him on the team just because he's Steph's brother-in-law and bringing up nepotism and all that. I didn't really think that was too true at first. And then I watched the parade and seeing how their families are, on the float together, and it's him and D Lee, and it's just like they got the kids, they got the wives, they got the family members, they got all that. I'm like, yeah, there might be some nepotism involved. I wouldn't be shocked if Damian.
Yeah, but that makes sense for them to be on the same float, though.
Yeah, and but it doesn't. Like, I'm just saying that I do think that if Steph was going to try to get anybody to stick with this team, it would be Damian Lee. I think they would
more than Draymond.
Huh?
More like I understand that thought process. Speaking from a guy that has been accused of nepotism and all that shit,
right?
But I don't think the Warriors would hesitate if it was for best for the team that they would not bring Damian Lee back. And Damian Lee has also said, like, I hate being called Steph's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So I understand that he has a career, and it may be the same situation as all the Antetokounmpos being on the Bucks. But I do think when it comes down to it, if Damian Lee has a better opportunity to make more money on a different team, he'll go to a different team.
Yeah, but how much money is he going to make on another team?
I don't think he will. But if it's best for the Warriors to get somebody else, I don't think there'll be some hard feelings because they're family. But at the end of the day, Steph will understand.
Yeah, and Moses Moody is a much better player than D. Lee, and he should be getting way more minutes over Damian Lee next year, I think. So I'd be very curious to see what happens there. We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens, and we'll definitely see what happens this week, because while the Warriors have free agents, I don't think there's going to be a big impact as far as signing new guys. Like they may get a veteran one or two, but this is going to be relatively the same team going forward, and they'll get better because they'll get younger with Kuminga, Moses Moody, and James Wiseman.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's other teams, and let's get to Kevin Durant's new team, the shitstorm that is the Brooklyn Nets. It sounds like the Nets are fed up with Kyrie Irving. I thought they'd be fed up with him before the season started, but now it's an issue, and this could just be leverage of trying to get a new deal with Brooklyn. But you read all the reports, and Woj is even saying that the Lakers are a strong possibility for Kyrie Irving. I don't know what that means for Russell Westbrook. Every interview you see with Darvin Ham, he mentions him, but that's kind of what you say when you are a new head coach. So I don't know. I don't know how they get Kyrie Irving. I don't know what the deal would be. It'd obviously be a sign and trade. But Draymond just commented on this, I think on his podcast, whatever platform he was on.
Yeah.
If Kyrie Irving joins the Lakers, big whoop. I don't care. If it's LeBron and it's Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, yeah, they'll be a better team than they were a year before. But doesn't mean jack shit to me when it comes to the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like those guys, for one, just they can't stay healthy like throughout a regular season. Anthony Davis cannot stay healthy, and he's one of the best players in the NBA if he does. LeBron, like he's just getting older, man. He's still a great player, but he gets hurt quite a bit during the season. Mm-hmm. And they traded away all of their picks and all their players in order to bring over Russell Westbrook and players like that. Now, the one guy in Kyrie isn't going to scare me and put them over the top and put them atop the Western Conference. I mean, if that's their secret to trying to beat the Warriors, then I'm not too worried about that. Kyrie going back to play, like, come on. The other guy, I mean, if Kevin Durant were to go to a different team within the Western Conference, that's where I'd be like, ooh, this would be interesting. Although there's not going to be any other team that he'd go to within the Western Conference, in my opinion. I think it'd be the East if he's going to go anywhere.
Well, that leads into another report that if Kyrie Irving does leave the Brooklyn Nets, that would mean that Kevin Durant would, mull his future with the team. And I call bullshit on that because I listened to his podcast, and there was also this erroneous report, or I guess quote, erroneous from Johnson White. Do you know who this guy is?
No.
He's
sounds like the name of like a paint color.
Yeah, it's Johnson White.
Yeah, and what do you want? Eggshell or Johnson White on the wall there?
Get a whole thing of Johnson White at Sears. Yeah. NBA and Warriors. Oh, wait, is this a parody account?
Do you just get sacked?
Did I get what?
Sacked by Ballsack Sports?
No, but that's a great
their
publication.
Tagline. Every time someone gets fooled by it, they say, you got
sacked.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's great.
Everyone reacted
to this. I've been sacked before. I've been sacked a couple of times.
Sack lunch. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. Just because everybody, falls for stupid shit. I got sacked from the stupid schedule release leaks.
Oh,
fucking asshole, that bastard.
No, you didn't get sacked. You just got caught being an idiot on the internet.
Yes.
Sorry.
But apparently, Johnson White, I guess this is fake. But everybody was reacting to this. He said, Kevin Durant on his podcast, I'm open to returning to the Warriors again. Never said that. Not a real thing. I listened to the interview, and like I said before, the podcast is interesting with having his buddy, kind of lob softballs to him. But he did comment on a lot of things. He did bring up the Kyrie Irving thing and said, he's got to do what's best for him, and I got to do what's best for me. I can't think of a better situation for Kevin Durant than Brooklyn. And I know that if he leaves Kyrie Irving or Kyrie Irving leaves him, then he'll be down another great piece on his team. But Kevin Durant's been given everything he wanted on this team. He got the coach he wanted, Steve Nash. He got his best friend in Kyrie Irving. They got James Harden, and James Harden didn't like it, so he got out of there. I don't know what his thoughts were on the Ben Simmons acquisition, but they picked up every big name you could think of. Blake Griffin that was out there.
DeAndre Jordan.
Yep, DeAndre Jordan.
Although, was he already there before KD? No, he was brought to that team.
He was. It wasn't. No, actually, he signed the same offseason. We just missed Kevin Durant for a season though. What's the dude from Detroit that went to the Lakers? That's now on the Nets now? Big dude. God, what's his name? No, I'll think of it in a second. Regardless, the main thing is he's got Steph's brother on the team. Everybody that he wanted, he got on the Brooklyn Nets. He practically runs that organization, the same vein that LeBron James does with the Lakers.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna find a better spot, in my opinion, as far as what you want. And I think they can still win, even if Kyrie Irving leaves that team. I think they're better off. Honestly, they can find another piece. There was that picture. Jesus, God, I'm turning to my dad, losing my voice while I'm talking. Steven knows every morning show, every morning hit. Yep, let's do it. Hello.
Hello.
There's that picture floating around. I guess Damian Lillard put Kevin Durant in a Portland Trailblazers jersey.
Yeah, that's
a good spot for him to go to, but I don't think that's realistic. And honestly, if I was the Brooklyn Nets, I've been saying this for a while now, I'd be calling Portland about Damian Lillard. I think he's better than Kyrie Irving, in my opinion. But I just don't think there's a better spot. And that's debatable. I understand that Kyrie Irving's a great player too. But just listen to Kevin talk. I don't think he's going to make a big scene and try to get out of Brooklyn. Like I said, he's been given everything that he wanted on that team. But just listen to him talk, though, and talk about the Warriors and everything. Obviously the talking point's always going to be that he was on that team and, it was the easy way out and blah, blah, blah. They went without him now.
Yeah.
And his comments were basically, why does everybody care about me in the situation? You guys should congratulate them. I'm not looking at them with any jealousy. I'm not looking at them with any animosity. They did their thing. The only interesting quote I did hear from that podcast was he said, I don't consider the Warriors... I didn't consider them the Warriors a dynasty until they won this last one, which I thought was like, why are you judging on when they were a dynasty? Why does that matter to you? But he does sound like a guy that doesn't really care what everybody thinks about him, but yet, he'll go and tweet out, things clapping back at Charles Barkley and whoever the hell Stephen A. Smith. And it was a weird interview. I recommend people listen to it. It was just a mix of him, being comfortable in his own skin and thinking about, I don't really care what everybody thinks about me. I've done enough in this sport that people don't need to criticize me. Whatever happens, happens. But then, he does care when you see him go lash out at people on Twitter. I think it's just because he doesn't get a lot of respect. And I don't think he'll ever get respect if he never doesn't win another championship. And if he goes to another team, it won't be the same thing. Like, everybody will criticize him for that. So my best bet for him, I don't think he cares what I think, but I think the best situation for him is to stay in Brooklyn and try to make it work.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I get where you're coming from, where it's just he got what he wanted, but it didn't work. It didn't work. And I'm sure there are other options that he could explore, but who knows? Like, if Kyrie were to leave, wouldn't there be a trade involved and possibly they get back some players and then all of a sudden, oh man, it's looking like KD has another piece that's there and you'd have to match that money that Kyrie's being paid. I think he's being paid over $40 million a year. I think, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, pretty close.
So with KD, yeah, I could see him staying there. Like, I don't know if that's his best bet because if the Warriors are your number one team, like the Warriors, they can be beat. Like, I'll say that the Warriors can be beat in the Western Conference. It just, to me, if you're looking to win, then I think the Western Conference would be the place that you'd want to go if you were to choose your team. But at the same time, I don't think KD is totally in it for winning rings anymore. I'm winning a championship. Like, that was his number one goal when he joined the Warriors. It was to win a championship and nothing else. And that was going to be his path to do it. And he thought that was going to get him some validation, and gratification, whatever word you want to use. But now I don't think that's the focus for him. I think his focus is, look, man, I just want to play basketball. I want to smoke weed. I want to play 2K, and then I want to go home. Like, that's all I want. That's all I want to do. Like, I don't think winning rings matters to him anymore. So if he likes Brooklyn, likes the city, likes the team, likes Steve Nash, I mean, it's like you said, man, he has all the power there. That's like, of course, yeah, he'd want to play with Steph Curry and Draymond Green again, but I don't think he wants to play for an organization that's, to be honest, as buttoned up as the Warriors are in terms of, who's in the pecking order.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, Kevin Durant wouldn't be able to do whatever he wants to do. Like, that guy is given all the autonomy in the world in Brooklyn.
He's not covering. He's never going back to the Warriors. That's just. I think that's a conversation that is ridiculous. I don't think he'll ever go back.
So I was hosting on Friday, right?
Yeah.
And there were 2 questions that we had. Now, hypothetically, if there was no trade package, take the trade package out of it. Take whoever you'd have to subtract off the team off it. If Kevin Durant were to come back to the Warriors, would you embrace Kevin Durant? Would you welcome him back? Or would you say no, I don't need that? Massive hypothetical.
It's a massive hypothetical. I'll say this. Flashback to the summer of 2016. I know everybody was excited about Kevin Durant coming to the Warriors. I was too. But I also said that I don't want him on the team before he signed. I was like, I'd rather not do this because I know what it was going to turn into. It was going to be a circus. It was going to be him, it was just hard to think of a player of his caliber being one of the guys and being embraced like that. I just never thought it was going to work. It worked championship-wise, but as far as egos and the world we live in now with social media, it was going to be a shitstorm, and that's why I didn't want it to happen. So my answer to you is it would be sweet to see him again in a Warriors uniform. But with all of the headache that goes with it, no, I would say I'd rather avoid that.
Nope. I'd say no. It's just I think the Warriors got him at the perfect time, man. They got him in a time when he wanted to win a championship. And also, it'd be another time where I think he'd have like a different mindset coming back. I don't think he'd care as much, but that's just really where I stand on it.
I hear you say that, but he did bring that up in the podcast where he said, I think everybody thinks I feel a certain way about things now. My only goal as a player every single season is to win a championship. Now, that could just be him saying that just for the podcast. And I also would say, if that's how you really feel, then you should just stay with the Warriors if you didn't care about what public opinion.
Yeah, if that's how he really felt, he would have stuck with the team.
Yeah.
So
and
I disagree with that.
The 2 things that I thought interesting from his podcast were he says that he has a good relationship with Draymond now. It's not as good as it was before when they got into the altercation in LA. But he did call him out and said, his buddy that hosts the podcast with him says, Draymond's got this new media. And KD said, I don't even know what that means, new media. I don't even know what that means. So I don't even know if he's like making fun of Draymond for being part of the media now, like he's no different than the Stephen A's of the world and all that. The funniest part, though, was if KD likes Brooklyn, I can't imagine how the media treats him there. And he said that one of the biggest reasons why I left Golden State was because of the media. I thought all these guys were my friends, and that's on me. But all these guys I trusted, he started listing off names, the Tim Kawakamis, the Monty Pools, and this is the funniest part. He goes, the Dieter, what's that guy's name? Dieter Kurtenbach.
That's pretty cool to be name dropped like that, though. Yeah. I don't even care if it's wrong.
Yeah, but it's just funny that he got his name wrong. But
those guys from that Just Your Opinion Man podcast.
What's that guy's name that used to be with Greg Papa, Bonte, Benita, calling me out?
Yeah, and then what's the other guy he's hosting with? Stoven.
But yeah, man, it's just funny to me. Like he had a problem with such of the Warriors media because I know that some of these guys could be a little crass at times, but for the most part, I think that the Bay Area media is pretty easygoing.
Yeah,
compared to East Coast media.
I'd say so. It could get really frustrating. I don't know what it's like to be in his shoes with a bunch of people asking you questions about your future day in, day out after you scored 30 on any given night. But when it comes to the new media, though, like just give it time. JJ Redick has already gotten to hot take mode before. He doesn't just teach. Sometimes he's had little hot takes that don't go over well. They just didn't have anything to do with the Warriors, so nobody in Golden State cared, and it didn't get back to Draymond. Like CJ McCollum, if he gets any more time, give him time. Like that's just how it goes in TV, man. You can't just teach things. Sometimes you need topics that are going to drive a show. And Unfortunately, teaching basketball doesn't exactly drive a show. That's just the sad part about it. Do I like the way
I don't think those guys. Sorry,
No,
I don't mean to cut you off.
do I like the way that they cover it? Sometimes, no. But I also get what they're doing. Like, I understand it. It's just a way to keep people, man, get people riled up. I mean, everything that we're talking about when it comes to them, maybe it's not real, but the new media, like, they're eventually going to get caught in that. I think they'll get caught in that whole hot take business. Hell, did we all forget that Draymond said, "Get my man Devin Booker out of Phoenix"?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's like, very true.
It's like, hey, man, you're doing the same exact thing as all those other guys that you're calling out right there.
You're not wrong. I think it's just it's a different thing when he's saying, in the sense that players like JJ Redick's tough just because he's been away from the game for so long.
Yeah,
but guys that currently play, like Draymond Green, CJ McCollum, hell, even Taylor Lewan and Will Compton doing Bussin' with the Boys, it's a different perspective of active players.
Yes.
Now, Will Compton, I don't know if he's going to play again, but yeah,
I look at Blaine Gabbert totally different now.
What do you mean? Was he on their show?
No, but you didn't see that?
I don't listen to that show, but I need to get into it because it's probably right up my alley with just two guys just bullshitting.
Well, they're meatheads for one. They're like meathead football players. That's number one, but they're funny. And Taylor Lewan, I've always liked Taylor Lewan. I've always,
good dude. Yeah.
I've always judged people judge football players based on their appearances in the NFL top 100. Don't look at me, man. I'm like the first one to discover Pat McAfee. All right, that was back in 2014. Nobody else was talking about it. And then the top 100, and then mic'd up. And Taylor Lewan was a character on all of that, and
he was.
That's why I follow him now. But he was telling a story about how the Titans were playing the Colts, and he says to the line, like, I think he came in for Tannehill or something like that. I forgot who the quarterback. No, Mariota. He came in for Mariota, and he said, "I'm gonna dice these boys up."
That's what Blaine Gabbert said.
Yeah, and then he ends up throwing a pick six on the first play.
But you know what? Hey, good for him having that confidence, man.
So hearing that, like, getting back to the new media point, though, you do hear things like that you're just not going to hear on ESPN. I do get where they're, because if I was Draymond, I'd hate if guys like Kendrick Perkins were saying Steph's not going to show up in Game 6. He's just not. Not having any basis for what you're saying. I do think they're going to react to things in certain ways, but when you get to TV and you're doing a show, not 365 days a year, but you're doing one for 5 days a week, year round. Yeah, it's like a something. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
Yeah.
And back to your point about the NFL Top 100, I'm with you. I thought Pat McAfee was hilarious on that show. I thought Gerald McCoy was really good on the Top 100.
Was always good. Yeah.
There was that one defensive back for the Texans, Charles James.
Charles James. Yeah.
He was good on there. Who was the old cornerback for the Steelers? Ike Turner. No, it was
Taylor.
Ike Taylor. That's it.
Yeah.
All those guys were. I mean, I think they all eventually tried media, but yeah, that's a definitely good barometer as far as judging NFL media people going forward.
Yeah, they don't really have a lot of them right now, at least any in the Pat McAfee, Taylor Lewan range, where it's like, oh yeah, Barstool's going to give them a podcast right away.
Najee Harris, man, watch out for that guy.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, Najee's going to be great. Najee's going to turn into like Marshawn Lynch,
but with more personality.
More personality, I'd say. Yeah, he's just like, and Najee. By the way, I was reading something like the only thing I've ever gathered from OTAs is like I was just constantly reading up about Najee Harris and his thighs. Apparently they're like just gigantic. And a dude who's covered the team for a long time, who covered Jerome Bettis, said he's never seen he said he's never seen a running back with a lower body like that. So excited for that.
What about AJ Dillon, who's got thighs on his thighs?
Steelers. Is AJ Dillon on the
Packers running back?
No, I was talking about the Steelers though, specifically.
No, I know, but check out AJ Dillon's thighs.
Yeah, gotta look up those thighs.
Oh, yeah. Thighs for days, baby.
I'll make sure I go check those out as soon as the podcast is over.
You check out those thighs, man.
Yeah.
By the way, Earl Campbell had the biggest thighs of anybody I've ever seen.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But it's just funny, though. Speaking of thighs, the reason I bring up Najee Harris is because he, I think, was doing like a kids football camp, and he's telling all the kids, like, you got to be Shakira out there, man. Your hips don't lie. Just move those hips, man. Just move those hips. He's like, hey, this guy's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's going to be good. I agree with you there. He's a character, man. But what were we talking about? New media?
New media. Yeah.
What else about new media? New media.
Well, I'll say that I think that it will be interesting to hear, like, podcasts like, Darren Waller's got a podcast now. Max Crosby's got one. I think it'll be interesting to hear the perspective of the players on a weekly basis going forward in a new way of not being so hot takey. But you're right, though. When you're on ESPN, when you're on FS1, whatever you're on, NFL Network, when you're on a daily show, and Pat McAfee's been able to avoid this, but his show's a different, different it's not hot takey, but it's a meathead type of show that you don't have to, when you do something on a daily basis, you do have to, start grasping at straws and just thinking of dumb shit to talk about.
Well, they actually do watch the sport, which is the sports that they're talking about, which is refreshing. Like you can tell on ESPN, like some of these guys just didn't watch.
Yeah.
Like you could tell, like they just did not see it. Like, the time Stephen A. Smith went on and talked about how like these, what is it, Chiefs Chargers coming up. And he was saying that he really likes these players on the Chiefs.
Hunter Henry, man.
Those guys or the Chargers. Yeah. They hadn't been on the team in a while. It's like, what? So like you could tell that they don't watch, like with Pat McAfee's show in between all the fart and dick jokes. Yeah. You can eventually, you get to the sports talk. I like McAfee, man, but it's the other voices. Like, it's like, I love that he got
Austin
together.
Mike.
It's just like, I love that he got together with his friends and I love that idea. It's just at some point, McAfee, you're the star and your friends aren't that funny. Like it's hard, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I do like hearing like NFL news on that show. Like Ian Rappaport is on that show. Shams Charania is on that show, or Shams. But as far as like a 4-hour show, I'm not watching or listening to it.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah. You said you judge NFL people based on the way that they are on NFL Top 100.
Yes, and mic'd up.
And mic'd up. Okay. Not that this is a funny topic by any means, but how would you judge Deshaun Watson based on his stuff then?
I haven't really heard him too much mic'd up or on the NFL Top 100 before.
Well, he did that one. Remember we talked about that one press conference? We talked about the different coverages and what are we doing there?
That's the hand movements that he was using. He's explaining a cover two.
Yeah.
In a very exact motion. Cover two. So you got two safeties back there, and he's like trying to create a chalkboard.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot of that this week when he speaks in front of, not as far as coverages with football, but covering up whatever he did because he's going to speak in front of the NFL, I guess, suspension committee or whoever that he's going to talk to.
Yeah.
It's sounding more and more likely that Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended for the entire season coming up this year. And people are going to be like, well, didn't play last year. He didn't play, but he got paid for every goddamn game, and he didn't get punished. So this is the actual punishment. And, a great example has been, who's my guy? Not my guy, I shouldn't say that. Who's the dude with the Dodgers that has been banned from baseball for 2 years?
Trevor Bauer.
The NFL has gotten a big black eye from Deshaun Watson. I know that the coverage of him being traded to the Browns was a big controversial thing. And I think the NFL is going to make an example of him now. And it could be bigger than, some people are talking about like a lifetime ban. I think that's excessive. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I do expect him to be suspended the entire season. And that may be announced this week. And that, that brings up the conversation now. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be good to go throwing in the next couple of weeks here, if not this week, where this is close to that timetable we were talking about when he got shoulder surgery. So, Steven, as we sit here now, if Deshaun Watson is suspended the entire season, is Jimmy Garoppolo the best bet? Like, is the Cleveland Browns the best option for him to go to this season?
For him? Well, I mean, actually, you know what? Let me double check. I want to look up this. I just want to double check and make sure I got the Browns and their wide receivers correct because I want to make sure I double check there. Oh, that's right. Amari Cooper is going to be a Brown.
Amari Cooper's on the team. They got Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, see, I don't know, man, because Peoples-Jones is a total deep threat. Like he's a guy who's going to give you a go route. Like that's where you maximize his talent right there. I've seen Peoples-Jones make some unreal catches deep downfield before. Amari, not necessarily that same way. You could run Amari. Like, I don't know, man. Are they going to run 10-yard slants where Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have to throw it 8 yards from the line of scrimmage, right down the middle, right in between the hash marks? Is that how it's going to have to go? Like, what's their system?
Their system is very similar to what Kyle Shanahan runs.
A lot of outside zone runs
yes.
and all that. Yeah.
It is a run-based offense.
Yeah.
So, and their defense, I mean, they got Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney on opposite sides.
Ooh.
I think that's the best option for him to go to, and I don't think there really is any other options at this point.
Nah, I agree with you.
If it's a 5th-round pick and that's all it is, I'd say the Niners just take it, because Kyle Shanahan basically said a few weeks ago that if there's a trade to be made, we're going to make one. And they're looking for a situation. So I don't know what the salary cap, I think the Browns still have a pretty good salary cap situation, and they're only paying Deshaun Watson like $16 million this year, which is a lot, but as far as football terms, not a whole bunch. So
no, that's like a number 3 tight end.
Exactly. So I think that it's probably going to be Jimmy Garoppolo in Cleveland this year, if I had to guess.
I mean, that's not a bad bet, man. I don't think, how much cap space do they have? They got 41 million in cap space as far as what I'm seeing.
And that's plenty.
Or I could be wrong. I don't know. These sites never make any
No,
sense.
The last time I looked at Spotrac, that's probably the right thing. And they're going to lose, and they're going to get money off the books if Baker Mayfield gets traded. And that's another story coming up the last few days, is that while we've heard over and over again that the Seattle Seahawks are not interested in Baker Mayfield, that's changed now, where apparently they are interested in him. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of weeks here before training camp starts that we finally put to bed all this drama with Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I agree. Well, which one do you think gets dealt first?
I think that if Deshaun Watson's suspension is handed out this week, then they got to do something fast. And this has probably been in the works for a while now, where Cleveland has probably told San Francisco, if something happens with Deshaun for the entire season, then we'll call you guys about Jimmy. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think anything's going to get done until Jimmy's on the field and he's throwing. But if they can avoid him going to training camp, then I think that they will make that deal happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. Can't believe that, though.
Makes sense, though. And for the situation they're in, I mean, they put all their chips on the table for Deshaun Watson. If they can't have him this season, your second best bet is not Jacoby Brissett. It is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, no, Jimmy's probably.
And both of those guys backed up Tom Brady back in the day, now that I think about it.
Would you rather have Baker or Jimmy, though, if you were the Seahawks or the Browns? Like, which one would you rather have? For Drew Lock, if you want to use Seattle in this equation.
Yeah, no. Drew would be third in my book.
Dude, I'm thinking, man, I'd rather take. I think I'd take Baker. He stinks, though.
Yeah. Okay. Just as far as like talent, because the big thing is that guys like Jimmy and guys don't like Baker.
Right. Yeah.
So are we going to have a detrimental quarterback on the team, or a guy that sucks but everybody loves?
Yeah. Yeah. With some talent, but is going to give you, I'm talking about Baker, with some talent who's going to throw some interceptions every now and then. Same thing with Jimmy. And Baker's going to fumble the ball whenever he tries to run and scramble. And, he ends up getting pickpocketed because he always keeps the ball really way outside on his hand, and anyone can strip it at any time whenever he's running the ball, carrying it like a loaf of bread, as they say, although I've never carried a loaf of bread that way. So I don't know, man. Damn. Slim pickings, though. I want to watch those two.
I think what's all said and done, though, I would love those two to be in a commercial together and just be like, who'd have thought? Us? National TV? We're not even that good.
What if Baker had what are they? Progressive commercials, or what are they?
They are progressive commercials.
They are, yeah.
Baker's in his house is the stadium.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Garoppolo obviously sells gabagool to Subway.
Yes. What if he brings him into a progressive commercial, and then just Jimmy has 600 chicks just following right behind him saying oh, he's coming over now. And he's just like, oh yeah, brought more dudes. I don't know.
Brought more dudes or brought more chicks?
Brought more chicks. Sorry.
And then Baker's going to be saying to his wife, oh, we're going to need more chairs.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. They can go in section 227.
Yeah. No, I expect all those situations to be resolved. And this was interesting last week. So I think I brought this up weeks before, but Akeem Hicks was signed by the Buccaneers. Defensive lineman, pretty good.
Yeah.
Fills Ndamukong Suh's role with the Buccaneers. So most likely we're not going to see him return to Tampa. And then Ndamukong Suh goes on ESPN last week and pretty much campaigns to be a Las Vegas Raider. And there are just certain players that always just fit being a Raider. You could say it was because Ndamukong Suh was a dirty guy stomping on whoever the fuck, the Detroit Lion guy. I think he stepped on. Oh no, it was Green Bay Packers twice. He stepped.
Yeah, it was on Rodgers.
Yeah, it was Aaron Rodgers, but he also stomped on an offensive lineman. But Ndamukong Suh seems like the perfect Raider to me, and that's one position I think they're lacking right now in their new 3-4 scheme. And I know it's a complexity of confusion, Stephen, or whatever. What's it called? What's the defense?
Illusion of complexity.
Illusion of complexity. But they got Bilal Nichols, I think, on one side. They got who's our nose tackle right now? Jonathan Hankins.
Yeah.
And then their other right end escapes me at the moment, but I think they need more beef up front. So I think Ndamukong Suh would be the perfect addition for the Raiders, and I would not be surprised. I know that they're saying that there's nothing right now, but I would probably guess before training camp. The Raiders have a lot of cap space right now. They can give him a $10 million contract for one season. I would say Ndamukong Suh will be a Raider before training camp.
Yeah, I'd love that move. I just don't like. Is Ndamukong Suh any good anymore?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's 34 years old. I think he had 6 sacks last season.
Yeah, I mean, they do need just depth at that position because everywhere else on defense, they seem pretty set. Because if you have, Crosby and you got Chandler Jones coming off the edge, Bilal Nichols, I don't know what to expect from this dude. I mean, he's young, so he has that going for him, but I don't know. I haven't really heard about him so much in the league. Jonathan Hankins is fantastic as a run stopper, but other than that, he's not going to be that guy who's going to get towards the quarterback and, create pressure up the interior. So, if Ndamukong Suh can do that, then yeah, bring him in, man. If he fits in with that illusion of complexity, then I'm in with that. I don't know what the illusion of complexity is, by the way.
I don't think even Patrick Graham knows what it is. But I think that along the same lines of Andre Iguodala filling a role with the Warriors, not necessarily playing a lot, Ndamukong Suh will play. But I think what's lacking on the Raiders right now is guys with experience. There's a lot of good players on that team. Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, all great players outside the ball defense. But as far as guys that have won and leaders, I think that Ndamukong Suh would be great for that team going forward.
Yeah, I think so too. It could fit, and it's been a long time coming, and maybe I'm glad that they hadn't gotten him at the price that he got paid when he was with the Dolphins. I think was when he got the big contract.
Yep.
Like, so if they're not getting him at that price, then I'm good with it. Like, Suh to the Raiders, it's been a fit ever since he stepped on Aaron Rodgers' bicep. Like, everyone's wanting Suh to the Raiders. So, if they make that happen, I wouldn't be shocked if they do that.
That'd be a good move, and he fits the whole Raider mentality. Yeah. Just a few baseball stories before we get out of here. The Giants lose 2 out of 3 to the Cincinnati Reds in the rematch when Tommy Pham slapped Jock Peterson. And then I don't get this. All of the Reds players on Friday night wear a Pham t-shirt, like a Batman, like Pham, like a punch, kind of cartoony thing. I don't get the support there. But nothing happened, so that was good. It was also E40 bobblehead night or day yesterday.
Yeah.
If you could give a bobblehead to one celebrity in the Bay Area, who would it be besides E40?
Besides E40, well, I'd make a Mac Dre one, but
that's a good one.
But only one that has his dreads loose and he can shake the dreads
for the A's.
No,
yeah, Mac Dre wasn't a Giants guy.
Was he an A's guy? Then probably for the A's.
I actually couldn't tell you.
Yeah, well, I mean, can you really do a promotional giveaway for the A's right now? It's like, hey, the first 5,000. Oh, wait a second. There's only 5,000 fans that are coming. All of you get bobbleheads.
Yeah, why not?
I think he would be great. I think I'm not trying to. Do you need Tom Hanks? Do you need Tom Hanks as a bobblehead?
Ooh, how have they not done that? Tom Hanks as the hot dog guy.
Because I think that we really build up Tom Hanks as an A's fan, but he doesn't care.
No, he does.
Does he? Because I've never seen him mention the A's ever or be at an A's game.
Because he's a big Hollywood guy now. He's, rubbing elbows with Elvis Presley now.
you could be as big of a Hollywood guy as you want. You don't support your team ever. Like I've never seen him.
Dude, I remember. Before. Okay, maybe not so much the A's.
Robin Williams showed up to the Giants. What?
Okay.
Tom Hanks can't show up.
Okay, well, I was gonna say that was gonna be my go-to, another dead guy. But I think it would be perfect if the Giants released a Robin Williams bobblehead. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
But I will say this about Tom Hanks: every email he sends ends with "Go long, baby," in the words of Ken Stabler. He's a diehard Raider guy.
Okay, well, Raider guy, that's fine, but I'm talking A's here specifically.
Well, yeah, you probably give out Blake Anderson bobblehead night for the A's.
And how do you know that he sends? Do you really think Tom Hanks emails? There's no chance that dude sends emails. He has an assistant do that or something.
I heard him on the Rich Eisen show say this, Steven, and I believe him.
Oh, okay. By the way, did you see him go off at a fan?
Yes. Rightfully so. It's the only time I've seen Tom Hanks angry, but
that was great.
Yeah. Get the fuck away from Rita Wilson.
Yeah. He went
full great in Jingle All the Way.
He went full Jimmy Dugan.
Yeah. I don't even know who that is, but I just like that name.
Hey, League of Their Own.
Yeah, you're right. That's his name in that
Jimmy
movie.
Dugan. Avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan.
Have you seen the new Elvis movie that he's in?
No, I really want to though.
I've heard it's good, but I'm not a Baz Luhrmann guy. If you know his work,
why not?
Just too over the top. Like I remember he did Great Gatsby with Jay-Z and Kanye West on the soundtrack. Like it's the 1940s, man.
That's really how you viewed that? I thought that was sick.
I didn't care for that.
Oh, okay. Cool guy. Didn't care for that.
I do want to check it out though, but I hear it's a long movie, like 2 hours and 40 minutes runtime. But
I'm sure you'll complain either way.
Other baseball stuff. Let's see here. So yeah, E40 bobblehead night.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani. Good Lord.
Yeah.
In a game he loses, has 8 RBIs, 2 3-run homers? Yeah, I believe it was. They lose. Happens. And the next night he goes and throws 13 Ks. Like, this guy's the face of baseball. And I don't think he's getting his due. He's not talked about as nearly as much as he should be, but the man's incredible.
Now, it sucks that the Angels suck, man. If the Angels didn't suck, they'd put them on national TV way more, like those types of games. And it's funny that it's happening against the Royals, though. It's like, how many people really want to tune into an Angels and Royals game? Baseball does as much as they can to pump up Shohei. Like, they really do. Except for, the fact that all their social media shortcomings that they already have, they can't do it through there. But, they really try and pump up Shohei. They put him on as the face of their website. They, always post his stuff. Yeah. But it's just shows where baseball's at, man. We got one of the greatest stars that we have ever seen. Someone who's doing something unprecedented. Like, I don't care what you'd say about Babe Ruth. Nobody alive has seen Babe Ruth in person. So, like, maybe there's a few, but really, who's seen Babe Ruth? Not a lot of people. Like, this is something that nobody has witnessed before, and he does this, it feels like, on a nightly basis. I mean, just the other night, he hits one 465 feet after getting thrown at the pitch before. Like, this dude is a phenom, and he doesn't get his respect. He doesn't get his just due, but I think that has to do with baseball, man. It's just people being off the sport, not really digging the style of play and all the shifts and everything. And it takes away from a lot of the skill guys that they have in this league. They got a lot of fun players in this league. A lot of them with the Dodgers and the Braves who are playing tonight. A lot of them with the Angels. They just don't have any pitching. It's just, you got a lot of young stars, man. The Blue Jays are supposed to be one of the most fun teams, not only in baseball, but in sports, and nobody cares about it because no one cares about baseball. It's just sad, the state that the sport is in.
Do you know what people care about more today with the Angels than actually Shohei Ohtani? Was the brawl that happened today between the Mariners. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. Does that count as a brawl?
It was a full-on naked gun brawl, man.
Was it?
Yeah, the whole bench is cleared, and then someone threw the seeds in anger.
God, that was so funny.
People care more about the seeds than Shohei Ohtani.
They don't care about the seeds of the game.
Exactly. Care about the seeds, people. And then
Anthony Rendon going out and trying to smack Jesse Winker when he has a cast on his arm. Oh.
Please don't do that. That's ridiculous.
Oh.
Yeah, the A's, no, sorry, not the A's. Well, the A's lost a ridiculous game the other night. Frankie Montas was having a no-hitter, and then 2 wild pitches in the ninth. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, pretty bad, man.
Yeah, I have no more to say about that. This might be the worst A's team I've seen in my lifetime.
They are on track for the worst season in Bay Area baseball history.
And you know what? They deserve it. Yankees and Astros. Great game today. Yankees come back after being no-hit yesterday. And this is insane to me. The Astros are the only team to no-hit the Yankees twice in their franchise. That's incredible.
Damn. Yeah, that's crazy. Who did it? I didn't even see that yesterday. What was I doing yesterday? Oh, I was busy last night. But what
It was your birthday weekend.
Yeah, I know, but I don't use that as an excuse. I just didn't pay attention. I should have looked that up. What happened?
They just got no hit.
Who did it?
That's
right. The bullpen and Christian Javier and Hector Neris. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, they combined for the no hitter. No wonder it wasn't as publicized or whatever. But the Yankees got this guy, by the way, this closer. Have you seen Chad Holmes?
No, I know the name, but I haven't seen him.
Dude, if you get an opportunity, like just to watch
Let me look it up right now.
If you go to watch a ninth inning game for the Yankees and they got less than 2 runs in the deficit or whatever, and they're up for a save and Chad Holmes is coming in, you got to go watch this dude. Aroldis Chapman, back when he was with the Reds, we're seeing something that we hadn't really seen before, which is a dude who's throwing upwards of 105 miles an hour.
You mean Clay Holmes?
Clay Holmes? Did I call him Chad?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Chad Qualls, Clay Holmes, same thing. But he has this movement on his pitches that's like just deadly, man. It's like Blake Trinan, except, the ball instead of Blake Trinan's slider's insane, but his is going the other way. His is going with two-seam movement on it. Clay Holmes, a closer, man. Wow. Like I haven't seen much like it. So if you get a chance, I recommend go and check out Clay Holmes. And Aaron Judge, didn't he walk it off with a 3-run homer today?
He did. I don't know if he did today, but it was the Friday game or whatever game it was. Bottom line is the Yankees are on pace to be the best team in baseball in history.
Yeah, second time in 4 days for Judge.
Oh, wow. So he did it again after he beats arbitration with the Yankees, too. Well, they settled arbitration, I should say.
Yes.
So that's crazy. So he did that twice?
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, the Yankees are on pace to beat the 2001 Mariners for the best record ever in baseball. And
they're also on pace, though, to be the classic Yankees and just lose in the ALCS.
That's what I'm saying, too. Like, it doesn't really matter how many wins they get in the regular season. They just got to be back to the 90s Yankees with Jeter and Mariano Rivera and be different than the Yankees of the new age Yankees where they lose in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's what it's leading to, man. ALCS lost. I could see it now.
Yeah, which, I don't really care. I could care less if the Yankees win or lose. And then the Braves and Dodgers. That was a good game last night. I watched that back and forth affair. Also, Freddie Freeman. Like, I get it. You see him crying?
Yeah.
Okay. I get it. You love Atlanta and everything, but you didn't have to leave. You signed that contract. Like, I understand you love Atlanta and everything, but that was a little over the top, in my opinion.
Yeah, Clayton Kershaw said
called him out.
Yeah, he's worried about that the Dodgers are second fiddle or something like that.
I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair.
I think it is, but why do you got to say it to the media?
Clayton's the leader. Is he the longest tenured Dodger at this point?
Yeah, easily.
Then, yeah, I mean, he's sending a message. He's the leader of the team.
Yeah, whatever. Leader. Or like loser. Because he's
got a ring, man. He's got a ring now.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Real quick, Stanley Cup update. I know a lot of people are watching this right now, and it's all tied up. Lightning and Avalanche 1-1. And, the Avalanche, if they win tonight, they will be Stanley Cup champions. So this has been a fun series to watch as well.
Yeah, it's been I've actually kept up with it a little bit. I got it on the phone right here. I mean, it's NHL playoffs are just different. I don't know what it is. The intensity's different. I guess it's because they can hit each other. It's different. I don't know, man. But this was shaping up to be a series much like the Warriors and the Celtics, where you got this young up-and-coming team who's got a bunch of stars and really overall are the better team. and then the Lightning had a chance to tie it up 2-2, and then they botched it in overtime. So I'm looking forward
to on the ice though. Apparently, too many men on the ice was controversial.
Too many men. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been enjoying this. I've been enjoying this little series though. I need the Sharks to get back in it. I miss the Sharks being in the playoffs.
Now that'll turn around eventually, but we'll see. But yeah, no, I mean, if the Lightning tie it up tonight, that'll be interesting because they will be the first team, if they win this series, to three-peat since the 2002 Lakers.
Oh, how about that?
We'll see, I guess. Before we end the show, a couple of sad notes.
Oh,
I know. I hate when we have to end the show like this. But some NFL, well-known players passed away this week. Tony Siragusa, a guy that I always liked on broadcasts. Big dude. I want to say he did like a show for like the Home Channel or it was like a man cave show where they were going to like refurnish like a man cave for people's houses. And a lot of people remember him for knocking out Rich Gannon in the 2000 AFC Championship game. Landed all 342 pounds land on Rich Gannon, and that's the reason why I thought they lost that game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unfortunately, Tony Siragusa at the age of 55 passes away, so that was sad to hear.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. Yeah.
And he was a big dude, too, but just sad to hear. And then, a lot of NFL players that are still in the league right now are dying. And I don't think it's any coincidence, but Jalen Ferguson, pass rusher for the Baltimore Ravens, died, and I think he was 25. And this is months after Dwayne Haskins died. I think it's Joe Gladney. Joe Gladney, who was a cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals. He died. Just terrible. So yeah, just no correlation between the three, but just sad that very young athletes are dying so young.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 55, still young too for the Goose.
Yeah, for Tony Siragusa. Poof. And a 50-year-old Law died Friday, and this is I don't want to get too political on the show, but whenever you have something like Roe versus Wade overturned, good Lord, man, we are just going backwards in society. And yeah, I don't have a lot to say. If you are, we all come from women, mothers. So if you have no sympathy towards women in this situation, I just think you're heartless.
Yeah, I can't reason with you at all if you are thinking that this is anything but utter bullshit. I just can't reason with anybody who thinks differently and, is trying to make this whole pro-life argument or whatever. I don't know. The political stuff is just so tiring. And this, is, it's all a product of voting though, man. This is why voting is no joke. And, they need to figure out a way to make it so that these Supreme Court justices don't have to last a lifetime when they get that job. Like, can you please put a term up? Like, good Lord. Yeah. I can't. It's tough to deal with, man. It really, and Ernie says it's another sad day in our country. I mean, it's not just a sad day, man. It's going to be a sad, future for the country. It's not just a sad day. Like, this is, oh boy.
I'm with you, Steven, that it's sickening that I saw you tweet about it. I commented when people that work in Congress are more upset with Roger Goodell over Dave Portnoy or Jack Del Rio not having rights than women.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
and on that note, everybody, we'll be back. Well, let's see. Next weekend is July 4th weekend. So if you want to take off, Steven, that's cool with me. Up to you, though.
We'll talk.
All right, we'll talk. We may be back next week. We may not, but regardless, we'll still be around.
I was hoping to do a little pop culture catch up.
Whatever you want to do, man. Or we could get excited for, Joey Chestnut trying to reclaim the belt.
I watched a documentary on Scientology because I watched Top Gun. They did that on Saturday morning.
Oh, wait, you want to do that now?
Yeah, why not? I don't know.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
That's all I watched. Top Gun. Top Gun on Friday night, and then I ended up watching a documentary on Scientology in the early morn called Going Clear on HBO.
Was that the weird one with so it's not the one that Tom Cruise endorsed?
No, this was
The one just like the weird like
yeah, not that one. That's a weird one. That's no. This is another one by Alex Gibney, who's like a famed documentarian for HBO. He does a lot of great shit. And he did this
was
one
it anti?
Yeah. Brought a bunch of people who cleared themselves as Scientology. They went clear, so to speak. And that's why it's called Going Clear. But my God, man, it's the amount of money that they were bringing in. And I think they said at one point each branch, Scientology branch, was bringing in like 1.5 billion or something.
Yeah,
which is insane. 1.5 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot. You know who's like a big anti-Scientology advocate is the wife on King of Queens.
Leah Remini,
yeah. She I guess it was like her family was in Scientology, and
she was too.
She was. Oh, she was? Okay. And she got out of it, and she has like a running like documentary series on A&E about, Scientology. So
it's on Netflix.
Okay. All right.
3 seasons so far.
You seen them all?
No, I haven't seen any of them, but I've seen I actually went to it the other day and I was like, oh, should I put this on? But it's one of those things where I'm going to put it on, then fall asleep because I do it right the night before and, whatever.
Okay. Well, just to talk about stuff we've been watching, I been watching Stranger Things, the new season. And I got to say, man, I'm going to get through it, but it's not really grabbing my attention that much.
Of course it's not, because other people like it. That's why.
It's just like, I don't know. It's not as engaging, but I'm going to finish it.
What season? What episode you on?
I just finished the one where, who's a little redhead girl?
Max.
She almost got sucked in by the bad guy.
You didn't think that was the best episode in the show's history?
No.
It was.
Okay.
Season 4 was fantastic. You're a jerk for not liking it. And just your opinion. No, it's not just your opinion, man. Your opinion sucks.
My opinion's wrong. Okay. But I like Ernie, man. Saying the Offer was great. I wouldn't say it was great, but it's a fun show to watch.
I gotta watch it. There's too much to watch.
I don't. If you want to get Paramount Plus, I don't think it's worth it, but it's a fun show. And then I've been watching That Damn Michael Che on HBO Max. It's a great show. Great sketch show.
Oh, nice.
Very, very, very topical.
Nice.
Yeah, you're damn right. I know the characters' names, Ernie. It was time to remember all the names from Stranger Things. I just know 11, but they don't even call her 11 anymore. By the way, did you ever watch the season of Barry?
Not the new one yet.
Oh, dude, make some time for that.
Okay, fine.
That's actually good.
Oh, is it?
And on that note, we'll see if we're back next week to talk about hot dogs, and we'll debate whether or not Stranger Things was actually good.
Yeah.
In the meantime and in between time, Steven, say what you always say, my friend.
And that's just our opinion, man, unless it's Derek's opinion of Stranger Things because its opinion sucks.
Fuck you.